Alright you guys, so we are back with some more Tucson Gem Show content. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you which shows you definitely have to check out if you go to the Tucson Gem Show in 2023. And I will make sure to link the website down below for where I am pulling all of these shows up because it is super helpful. It tells you the date that the shows start, what show is actually going to be in which location, and a website for the show plus their address. So much good information. The website is called Tucson Gem Show 101. That's the best website I've been able to find for up-to-date information on all of the shows. There's the main show website that's also out there, but that doesn't include every single show. It just includes information on most of the main shows. So Tucson this year, some shows start as early as January 15th and the show goes through mid-February. There are exact dates for each of the shows on the website, and I'm going to show on my screen right here just how many shows there are. I think I counted and there's over 29 different showcases that are going to be happening at the Tucson Gem Show in 2023. So I'm going to walk through some of my favorites that are must-see shows so it can help you focus your time and energy. I'm also going to tell you how much time I think you actually need to spend at that show just based on my experience, because some shows, some days you could literally spend 2 days there and not see everything. In other shows, you could spend 20 minutes there and see the entire show. So let me stop blabbering. Let's get started for my first show that you must see in Tucson 2023. So the first show I 100% recommend going to see is the Pueblo Show. Pueblo Show is one of the best gem shows, hands down, at Tucson. It has some of the biggest, most insane statement pieces you'll ever see. It has that big rose quartz statue with the big points on it. I'll put a picture in so you guys know what I'm talking about. But that is the Pueblo Gem Show. It is massive. I think the parking fee is $10 to get in, but it's a really close walking distance to the show. But you guys, the show is huge. When you first get there, you're like, oh, it's not that big. Just keep walking and keep walking and keep walking, because this one will probably take you a full day. If you get there at 9, you could still be there by 6 p.m. when the show closes. You could spend an entire day just at Pueblo, and you probably should. Some of the best vendors are at the Pueblo Gem Show. So the Pueblo Show runs from January 26th and it ends on February 7th. If you're booking your tickets now, make sure you book during the time that the show is actually happening so you don't miss it, because this is one you do not want to miss. So the other shows you're not going to want to miss are the shows at the hotels. This includes the Red Lion Inn. Now, I don't know if this is technically like an unofficial gem show at Tucson, but this is a great place to go for collectors, for businesses, and people who just love gems. This show is pretty much all outside, and some of the best vendors are there, and they have some of the best prices, especially compared to 22nd Street, which is actually more of a retail show versus a wholesale show. So the show at the Red Lion Inn is technically called the GIGM Globex Gem and Mineral Show. So that's the show that happens at the Red Lion Inn. It is literally a 5-minute drive down the street from Pueblo, if not less. You could probably walk there in 5 minutes. It's just down the street from Pueblo and is another pretty big show. So it's not as large as Pueblo, so you could definitely get done with it in maybe 2 to 3 hours, but you definitely want to check it out, especially if you are looking for wholesale prices. They have the best prices out of most of the shows there, and they have some amazing vendors from all over the world. Some of my favorite vendors I met there, including my Himalayan vendor, my Obsidian vendor, my vendor from Guatemala who has Honduran jade, my Brazilian vendor, and my Peruvian vendor. So many amazing vendors there, so definitely do not miss that show. But you probably could honestly spend just a half day there and get it all done, so it's definitely worth checking out. So the next hotel show you're gonna want to check out is at the Motel 6. Doesn't sound super appealing. So the technical name for this show is the GIGM Motel 6 Gem and Mineral Show. Show on the official Tucson website and Tucson Gem Show 101 website, and you can find the addresses on there. This show is, again, one of those amazing shows. It's right next to the Tucson Hotel, like literally within walking distance. If you're staying there, you don't even need a car, and it's just down the street from the Pueblo show. So really great location, and it's huge. When you first walk in, it doesn't look very big, but just keep going all the way down. This one is one that probably could take you half a day or 3/4 of a day to actually get through all of the vendors. And again, this is one where you definitely want to check out those vendors because they have a lot more of the wholesale pricing than some of the other shows at Tucson. So out of the hotel shows, those two are must-sees, and you could do them after or before the Pueblo show because honestly, you guys, the Pueblo show is gonna take you like a full day. It's a huge show. So there is another hotel show at the Quality Inn, and I wasn't able to check this one out, but if it's anything like the other ones, it's probably worth checking out if you have time. There's a lot of the shows at the hotel that have really good wholesale prices, so especially if you're a business, definitely make sure to check out those hotel shows. So the next show that is often on people's hit list is the 22nd Street show. Now, personally, as a business and a person looking for the best prices and the best quality, I did not think that the 22nd Street show was that impressive. I probably only spent about an hour there. It's definitely worth going to see, but the prices are more retail prices than wholesale prices, and it's just not that big of a show, and it's very redundant of what you see at the hotel shows. So I'd recommend seeing 22nd Street show if you have time, but this is just my opinion. Some people may come for me. I don't necessarily think it's 100% worth seeing unless you're a collector or you're just there to see the show. I didn't end up buying anything from 22nd Street because I could get everything across the street at the hotel shows for like half the price. If you're a business, I mean, it's worth going just to see it, but I don't think it's worth going and spending half a day, a full day there. If you have an extra couple hours to kill while you're waiting for something else, definitely go and see it, but it wouldn't make my top 5 that you must see. So the next show that a lot of people have recommended that I actually did not attend was the Kino Gem Show. And that one again is another big outdoor show. Since I haven't been there, I can't speak to it much. I've actually heard mixed things about it, so it's definitely worth checking out. I am gonna go to that show this time around just to see what it's all about, but I'll probably save it till the end of my trip just because I think the other shows are more important to hit day 1 and day 2. But if you guys have any thoughts on Kino, let me know in the comment section down below. It looks like a really big and promising show with a lot of great vendors and suppliers there, so I think it's definitely worth checking out from what I've heard, but let me know in the comment section down below. Another show that I personally loved, and if you're a collector you would personally love, but if you don't have a lot of time you should probably skip, but it is the Mineral City show. The Mineral City show is like the bougiest show that you can attend in Tucson, at least in my opinion. It's like a little warehouse and each room is a specialty little museum room, and everything there is for sale. However, the price points are in the thousands. Some actually have much cheaper prices. It just depends. It's a beautiful show of some of the world's most expensive high-grade museum collector's pieces that you will ever see in your entire life. That's why I say it's worth going to, because some of the best museums in the world won't have pieces like this. There's also some amazing characters and people that you will meet there, and amazing world-renowned collectors that you could rub elbows with at that show. There's also this like bougie spot at the end of the show where it's actually a vendor or supplier, but they have a bar in their shop and they serve free booze, and there's some of the most amazing large expensive moldavite pieces. So if you guys just love minerals and love seeing bougie, expensive, insane pieces, I would highly recommend going to see Mineral City, especially if you're a collector and you're not there as a wholesaler or you're just there for fun. Go to Mineral City. It's so cool. You could definitely see the whole show in 2 to 3 hours. So it's not like a huge time suck like a Pueblo is, but definitely go and check it out. It is probably one of those shows a lot of people don't talk about, and it wasn't very crowded because a lot of people don't know much about it and don't go to it. I went on my last day, so I think it's my Tucson day 4 vlog if you want to check out what it looks like. I didn't film a lot in there, you guys, because it was like private collectors, but really cool and worth to go see in my opinion. So the other show I went to go see, which unless you're a really big diamond jewelry based high-end jeweler collector, you probably could skip this show, though my favorite rhodochrosite vendor was in there, and it's worth it to go see, but it's not necessarily minerals and rocks. It's more so gems and jewels, and there's a big police presence there, and you actually have to pre-register for the show. There's a registration line and everything. It's definitely a lot more jewelry based with jewelers. Oh my freaking god, I couldn't get through that. So it is the J&LW show. It's a big tent off. It's actually pretty close to the airport. It's the furthest down of all of the shows. I did go there because I was specifically looking for the rhodochrosite vendor, which I absolutely love, but they're one of the only crystal shows in that entire place. The rest is truly like diamonds and gems and all kinds of like that side of the crystal industry. If you sell jewelry, if you make jewelry, especially high-end stuff, and you're dealing in diamonds and gems and that kind of stuff, go see that show. But if you don't, Enter the Earth and Kino are also over in that area. You could honestly go in and spend a couple hours there just looking around. It's not a whole day event if you're not into jewelry. If you're into jewelry, you could easily spend a heck of a lot of time there. But that's one where I would probably skip it just because you don't really need to go there unless you're like wanting diamonds and stuff like that. But the Kino show is also over in that direction, and the Enter the Earth warehouse is also over in that neck of the woods. So if you're over there, you can definitely pop over and see that show. But you guys, honestly, that's all of the shows that I was really able to see that were the big hitter shows, and that's where I spent a majority of my time. I didn't really get to go to any of the other 29 showcases, including the main Tucson show, at all while I was there. And that's what I mean by you need more than a day, because if you only have a day or two there, especially if you are shopping or just wanting to see minerals, establish relationships, buy wholesale, you need at least 4 days, because that's all I was able to see in 4 days. And I was being pretty efficient. I was by myself and I was hardcore shopping. So the shows are that big, so you just need a lot more than 2 days. Like, you can't even get through the Pueblo show in a day unless you're just like speed walking through and not looking or talking or shopping to anyone. So I highly recommend at least 3 days. If you can squeeze 4 or 5 or even 6 days, do it. It's just the hotels can get a little pricey. But those are my must-see shows based on what I was able to see last year. But let me know if you guys have been to the Tucson show, what your favorite shows are. Are they the hotel shows? Are they a show I didn't mention? What would you recommend? Make sure to help each other out in the comments, because I know a lot of people are looking on what shows to actually attend while you're in Tucson, because it's not something openly talked about, especially here on YouTube. There's very little content out there for what shows are worth going to, what shows are worth skipping. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it somewhat helpful. And if you guys see me in Tucson, come and say hi. Don't be shy. I'm super open to saying hi and meeting people. I will probably be vlogging and shopping and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. If I look like a crazy person, just come say hi. I promise I won't bite. I did post a Tucson vlog from earlier this year in February when I attended. I will link it up above if you want to check that out. We'll link the Denver vlogs up above as well, so you can see what the Denver show is like. And I did also do a Tucson 101 video on what to bring, how much money to bring, where to stay, etc. So if you want to check that show out, it goes a little bit more into the weeds of what you need to do to prepare for going to Tucson in 2023. So I will link all those videos up above and down below so you can check those out. But in the meantime, let me know if you have any other questions on Tucson or Denver. I'd be happy to make content around them and happy to answer the questions for you. But until next time, I will see you guys on the next one. Love you. Bye.